you are getting oils, even if you are getting oils in plastic containers, immediately transferring is one suggestion. So try to source your local oil mills. Nowadays there are many in South, at least we have many wooden mills. So they are making oils in the wooden mills. So if you have any local mills, you can take a steel container and then get the oil and put a plastic layer or something so that it will be airtight. If the container lid is proper, then not a problem. Or else we have to make it airtight and keep it. And always, when we talk about oils, I will discuss like how we were storing the oils and how we were using them.
Thank you,
sir.
Yeah,
you meant a lead container for rasam?
Iya patra.
No, Iya patra. Yeah. Iya patra. What do you call that in English?
Lead, I think.
No. Lead is toxic. It's not lead actually. Iya patra is made of, just a minute. It's some alloy basically.
You mean the coating inside of the brass vessel?
That is silver or tin. They use silver or tin as a seasoning. Nowadays they are using lead, which is not at all advisable.
Okay. So this EM is good for health? Or?
EM patra, that is a traditional cookware. I'm not able to know its English name.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll try to locate them.
Yeah. EM Sambu. There are available English name. We have to check.
But that is not lead, is it? EM is
No. EM is not lead.
Oh, because we are under the mistaken impression EM is lead, so we should not use it.
Stopped using it. No? We have kept it in the attic.
Okay. EM is traditional. Basically, it's not just tin. Also, it's some alloy of some metals. So it's not even pure tin. So they say it's tin. I need to check again with some people.
But rasam comes out quite tasty and with a lot of flavor when you make it that.
Yes.
I think my mother used to make that way.
So basically, iron containers for sour thing we can't use. The best is stone or mud containers for any cooking. So if you are coming to metal, brass also will not be suitable for cooking sour things. So unless and until it is coated. So tin coating is being done normally. So this EM Sambu, which they say tin, they also have some other metals into it.
But traditionally, they used to use one thing called bengalam.
Actually, pure silver, like basically pure silver coating was used. So pure silver, if you keep on the gas, it will melt. Like it has a less melting point compared to others. So normally, silver containers should not be used for cooking. You can use for serving.
Okay.
At the same time, for glazing, inside the brass, like for putting kalai, pure silver was used initially. That is much safer.
Okay. But for pongal and all, we make with bengalam. Bengalam, I don't know what is the metal. Like
bengalam.
Yeah.
It's brass.
Yeah, but if you drop it, it will break.
Bengalam. Bronze.
Yes, bronze.
Bronze container. Yeah.
Good.
So, but still, you are not supposed to use it for cooking. For serving, it's fine. Bronze. For cooking, is not advisable.
No, but they say that is the best for cooking, but not for retaining because normally
brass. Bronze or brass?
Brass, is it?
Brass is suitable for cooking.
Okay.
Bronze for serving.
Okay.
Kansa. We call it as kansa.
Okay.
So even if bronze is used for cooking, maybe they will add some other alloy to it. Pure bronze cannot be used for cooking.
Okay.
For minor heating, it will be fine.
Okay.
So bronze spot with tin coating. Normally Vengalam Parpu Urli. Okay, bronze spot with tin coating. So they use some other combinations, then it will be suitable.
We went to the shop yesterday, day before. The soapstone vessel is very costly, as you said, in the order of 3,000 to 4,000.
How many liters?
3 liters.
Okay, 1,000 rupees per kilo. Okay. Like they have some standard rates, like per kilo, some price.
We went for mud pots, which is 300 rupees each.
That is best. Yeah, I have seen your mud pots. They are nice.
Yes, they are quite a reasonable size, neither too big nor too small. So
Yes,
yes. So
yeah. Actually, you need not worry about stone cookware. If you happen to get any time, yes, try to invest and try to keep. Mud is available everywhere, so it's safer also. Only thing is mud containers, if you have artisans who make proper leveling to keep proper lid so that steam will not escape, then you can make similar dishes like how you make in stone container. Basically, steam evaporation, like some volatile compounds are lost and some nutrients, aroma, taste will be lost. So stone cookware, like even stone cookware, I've seen people, they just put on high flame and they will just keep on boiling. Like they will just use that container like regular steel container. Then there is no point of using that stone container. So you have to use it in a proper way.
But our next plan is to try out rice cooking the way you suggested. Just keep it for till boiling point, the water. Add it, put it in the hay, and then try. My sambandhi was telling that in Kerala they have a vessel where they do overnight rice cooking. You are aware of that?
So yes, it's called as double insulation. They even one company, what is the steel company which is famous? Okay.
Prestige?
Pardon?
Prestige? No.
Not Prestige. Like South Indian one stainless steel company. It will have 2 pots, like outer pot, inside it will be one more inside pot. So in between it's a cavity.
Yeah.
So that will retain the heat.
Yes. That's what my somebody said. They cook overnight so that the food is ready in the morning. So
Yes. Yeah. So everywhere it's not accessible. So this way we can retain the heat. So yes, tadka can be done in the mud vessel also. We will be showing some oil-free tadkas and how to basically without oil, how to maintain the temperature and make the tadka and all. We will see some videos like all at once. If I tell also, like it will be difficult to follow. Slowly I'm introducing. Yeah, so Iya Chambu is pure tin. Okay.
I was on unmute. Yeah. I was asking whether this double wall vessel is good for cooking rice.
Yes.
Okay. So we wanted to try that.
Stainless steel one, na?
Okay.
Like the one, like the milk cooker, you mean?
Milk cooker also, yes, it is also like double layered steel. Milk cooker also, which will have some steam outlet. Yeah, even you can cook rice in that. It will be nice. But if you want low carbon footprints, like if you want to reduce the metal carbon footprints and all, this low carbon, like that insulation with hay or cocoa peat or dry, see, you can make with various materials. If you don't get dry grass, you may get some grass powder, like broken grass or wooden shaves, or you can get some cocoa coir, cocoa peat. These all are carbon matter where even sawdust will be fine, but sawdust will keep on slipping. Like you can't insert your container. You need to, even if you keep sawdust, you have to arrange some thing hard carbon so that the sawdust will not slip down into the cavity. Just some arrangements are required.
I think that coconut fibers also we can keep.
Yes, we can loosen it and we can arrange on the outer layer so that it will hold the sawdust and you will have a cavity in center.
Yeah, because everyone will be using coconut anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so we completed 10 sessions, like 2 weeks. So 10 sessions. We are almost halfway. So you have seen practicing, like you have implemented introducing fruits if you didn't had a habit of eating fruits or vegetables. So then slowly we have transformed to having one fruit meal. So yes, hopefully all are following. And I think Rajwant is finding better with her cold and sneezes. How are you managing? Are you feeling better now?
Guruji, the point is my cold and sneezing happens only when in the morning hours.
Okay.
And when the season changes, then the seasonal one, I know it happens during the day. But the regular one that I was facing, the main issue was last 6-7 years now. When I get up in the morning, I have to sneeze 20 times and cold happens. And sometimes that extend during the day also. But yes, it gets regulated when I am on a structured diet or following. And fruit and vegetables, raw vegetables, yes, definitely it is good, easy to make also.
Nice. Yeah, many people see me eating and they say, wish I would follow your lifestyle. I can save my time in cooking. So that is the first thing people normally tell. But at the same time, it's not that easy to come out of the habits. It may take time. We can be slow. We need not pressurize our mind to forcefully practice. You can just be comfortable. Just introducing slowly is the key. Slowly shifting the mind to the habit changing. Basically, that's how we can change the habits. And so hopefully you are comfortable at least to select the right fruit and vegetables, tender vegetables. Yeah, it's very difficult to get in the market how the stage which we are supposed to eat. We have to just plan accordingly. And how many of you have, you can just click on raise hand button. How many of you have tried cooking rice in this method? Like it need not be low carbon cooking, at least separating the starch and eating the rice.
So we don't eat rice too much in especially in
So have you tried roti, at least sprouted wheat or
vegetables?
Vegetables, okay. Yeah. So others yet to try. So
that is our next plan.
Okay. Yeah. So it can be millets also. I tried steamed vegetables also. Okay, nice. Rice and steamed vegetables. Good. So
yeah,
who is speaking?
I did rice a few days.
So basically, try at least if you are not finding time, whenever you have holiday, just try this whenever you are free. Try this small things. Find the difference. Don't make others eat in the beginning. First, you experiment in a small batch. You be comfortable because when we make, we may not be perfect. We may do some mistakes. So if you first only try to show others, maybe some people are very broad-minded. They may take and they can accept, or they may give comment like it hasn't come well, something like that. But when you are comfortable, at least then you know the other people taste. At that time, you can offer them. So initially, don't try to like show all your experiments, whatever you do. Don't try to serve others. First, you be comfortable. Then you can offer others. Then they will like. If they have some impression in the beginning, then they will not accept later if they are not broad-minded. Normally, broad-minded people, they will, okay, you are trying, fine. This is not yet up to the mark, but still fine. It will improve. They will take like that way. Okay, so coming to more about, okay, this is little out of topic for today, but I want to talk about this. Okay, everyone can put their hands down. I want to ask other question. First time I ate papaya without salt. Nice, good. Yeah. How many of you are or were scared of this COVID? You can click on raise hand button. Okay, so others were courageous. Nice. Only few people were actually.
I knew it is not real, you know.
Pardon?
It is not real.
No, that's what I'm trying to understand. People like whoever were scared.
Scared in the sense we are not truly scared, but we were just taking precaution and not
Precaution. Okay.
Because we are past 16, we didn't want to take a chance.
Okay. Then it's
My-
fine.
And our teachers were warning us, you go out, something will happen, and we will not be responsible at all.
My hesitation was because of the cold and sneezing. Every symptom was similar. So I used to doing it regularly, only what's new. And
Okay.
anybody who was coming in my vicinity, and the moment I sneeze,
They will get scared.
it was like a curse, and what's happening. And I used to comfort them saying, this is a normal practice with me. So I was.
The worst thing was in an elevator, if somebody, like sneezes, the whole crowd used to turn and look at them.
So I was doubtful that if these symptoms are there and if this is that COVID is there, then how will I differentiate that this is my normal cold and all? Not that fear.
Okay, so we'll keep this COVID aside. Do you believe in virus? Is there anything called virus?
Definitely.
Okay. So do you believe, okay, we don't know the actual, like there is a science, but in science also there are many hypotheses, there are many assumptions. So we come to one stage of some conclusion. Later on we do some research and we say, oh, this is not this, this is this. So earlier assumption will be wrong. Later we will come up with new theory. So now, according to modern science, like virus is like a germ, right? So basically virus is not a living being. Anyone knows about it? It's not a living being. It's only RNA. There is no
DNA.
Yeah.
The virus, it replicates only in living cells, but they have not been able to associate the virus to a disease. They have they are just making the hypothesis, but when they asked it, that say for example, I am having a cold. So now they take my blood sample and inject into others. Will the other person get cold? They have not been able to prove it.
No, they can't get.
Yeah. So that is showing that is not real.
Yes. So how, see, what is virus basically? When I was talking about disease cycle, I was trying to explain, ultimately the root cause of any disease is toxin and improper nourishment, both hand in hand. Even if you are having healthy food, if you are already toxic inside, when the absorption is not there, the functionality of the body is compromised, absorption is compromised, assimilation, elimination is compromised, then the nutrition also will not be absorbed. Then the cells will not be nourished. When the cells are not potent, the organs will not be potent, and then ultimately the whole of the functionality will be not potent. It will not function well. So that's how we get deficient in some things, or will not be energetic to doing some things. So finally, it's these two things to be handled. So now what toxins can be, either it can be through food, pollution, the toxicity in the food, or even if something is excess, like suppose you eat something good, healthy, but you eat excess, that can also become a toxin. So toxins can also be with mental, like emotional suppressions, or it could be also karma. Few also inherit from parents, genetics also. The vaccinations also, it will have toxins. So there are various toxins. Ultimately, any foreign matter which is not suitable. Even the cosmic rays which we feel divine, if you are not able to absorb, it will be a toxin. Like suppose a 20 watts bulb, if you are giving 100 watts, then it can't take that load. It will burst. So anything which is not in our limit, which is not suitable, or when the body is not able to assimilate or break it down, when it is inside our system, it will be a toxin. Now, to handle these toxins, a body has beautiful mechanism to detox. Like we have various organs, like it may come through skin, the sweat, through air, through lungs, through that heavy air, or it may come through urine and fecal matter. And that's how all of the organs help in these excretions, through nose or through eyes or through ears. The mucus can come. So ultimately, mucus is not just one thing which will help to hold the toxins. Even air element and fire element like pitta and vata elements also help in absorbing the toxins and pushing them out. So that's the reason we have tridosha. So basically, tridosha, vata, pitta, kapha is not doshas. Basically, vata, pitta, kapha are the base for Ayurveda to balance the body. If it is excess also, it will be a problem. If it is less also, it will be a problem. Ultimately, they have a role to play in body, like mortality. Like if you have to run, you need vata. So if there are some toxins, again, vata is required. Air element toxins, vata is required to hold them. So to push also, air element is required. So that is imbalances. So now the toxins, we have a mechanism to detox, but when we try to suppress these toxins, then it will accumulate. That can cause some other imbalances. We call them imbalance, but basically these toxins are trying to come out through some other channel. Maybe for a while it will hold at one place, but it cannot stop there. So we have other mechanism to push it out, like lymphocytes, what you call, in white blood cells, we have macrophages, lymphocytes, and they are fighter cells. So all these cells will be handling these toxins. So at one point of time, when the white blood cells are compromised, immune system is compromised, then the pathogenic bacteria are also there in our body, which are there again to balance. So now they will take over because there is toxic accumulation. White blood cells also are not doing their job. So toxins are being accumulated, then it will go stink inside. So that's how pathogenic bacteria will take over to clean up, and that also will give its residue. That's the reason we have bad odors. Once they all clean up, and also the system will allow the pathogenic bacteria to take over. Suppose to dig the soil, if you have to dig the soil, it may take 1 day. If you just take a JCB, you can just do it in 1 hour. So using pathogenic bacteria is like that way, like making it faster. Like I compare again to churn the milky ocean to extract the amruta. They were taking the help of rakshasas. Basically, these pathogenic bacteria or rakshasas, they have bhujabala, the physical. They have more energy in that physical pain. Compared to devatas, they have yukti, more of subtle energies will be there. So here, when pathogenic bacteria overrides, we get infections. That's how we, again, temperature will increase in the body, indicating that something is happening inside. Okay, some detox or some elimination is happening. So that time the temperature shoots up. One reason is to control the pathogenic bacteria also. The other reason also is to eliminate the toxins which are generating. At that time, you don't feel hunger or you feel low because you have to rest. You can't work regularly. So when you go into rest mode, the body will do its process and it will cleanse properly. So during that time, if we try to take some, if you manage it well, not a problem. But if we we have to support it basically. If you take any antibiotics and try to suppress, yeah, the symptoms will go. If you take some paracetamol and try to suppress, symptoms will go. Anti-allergy symptoms will go, but the underlying toxins will remain. So when these toxins remain, again, the body will try at the later time. So it may try to again push out, or if you are repeatedly suppressing it. So whenever we have fever, after the war inside, there'll be some program which will be written by the cells. So next time when there are similar toxicity, some antibodies have to be released. So that's how it will handle the situation faster. It will know before only it will pre-program now. Oh, this is the similar situation. I have to handle this way. It has a program. But sometimes when we disturb it in between, it will again start from the scratch because it doesn't have a memory. We have stopped in between the process. So it doesn't have a memory. So it has to redo its work. So sometimes if this is not addressed, if the toxins are accumulating, then it may lead to arthritis or cancer also sometimes. So this is how the cycle continues. So in this process, sometimes body will trigger some programs. So those are called as virus. So this will get triggered when body, and normally during seasonal change, we have viral fevers. Because like how we have leaf fall in every season, like during some season, like that in the system also body naturally go, like especially during the seasonal change, we get this flu and viral fevers and all. That is a natural mechanism since our childhood. It's not new. So now they have taken this phenomenon and they have created a big picture. From morning till night, everywhere, if you open up, watch TV or newspaper or WhatsApp, everywhere the same message, same fear. Slowly, initially people were taking light, but when they saw repeated messages or they have seen people who are dying. Yes, people also died. There were situations. So because of fear, people might have died. There were death rates because of fear also. It's not like only because of virus. So if the patient is not handled well, so allopathy has done its work. They have done its job, but not everyone were like that. So they were also trying to deceive people. There were some people who were trying to deceive. There were some people who were trying their best to protect them. So we can't say that allopathy system is completely bad. Whatever they know, they were trying. So now this is a natural phenomena. At that time, when you try to suppress, only symptoms can be suppressed. Symptoms can be overridden. So temperature, viral fever, if you see whatever medication you take, it will not go. Only temperature will come down, but the effect will be there for the program will be active for 14 days or 21 days like that. So now vaccinations will create antibodies. Okay. So antibodies also will generate inside naturally. Whenever we have virus, body will generate its own antibodies to help that program under control, to keep that program under control and to help the toxins to eliminate better. So antibodies are naturally produced. If anyone is affected with virus, if you test their blood test for antibodies, automatically they get immune to that virus next time. So if complete cycle has been performed, then they will not get such things. Like even if they get some such toxicity, before they undergo this harsh method of detoxification, the antibodies will be completely helping to push the toxins out before it goes into complex situation. So that's how the body has a mechanism. Now, when we transmit any vaccination, when we give some antibodies through vaccination, which is not identical to our body memory, it is not in harmony to us. Even blood transfusion, if you transfer some blood donation, okay, body will not accept. Even if it is a like-minded blood group, like A positive also, like mapping blood group also, body cannot accept it. One benefit of blood transfusion, blood transfer is, at least blood cells have a life of 120 days. So after 120 days, it will rejuvenate. New blood cells will form. So till that time, at least this blood, because sometimes in accidents we have lost the blood. So there is a need, there is an emergency. At that time, we have taken some blood donation. Okay. Till certain period of time, till your blood cells rejuvenate, this will be a backup, but still the body will be fighting it because of medication. Like after transferring the blood, a person normally in the allopathic system, they will give some supportive medicine. They can't just leave them. So even for organ donations. So if a person has been organ transplanted, he will be given immunosuppressants and steroids, and they suggest to take for lifetime. So if you stop taking the immunosuppressants, then the body will attack on that organ again. It will fail. The organ transfer, whatever transplantation has happened, it will be a failure. So this is a supportive system according to the allopathy. To protect that organ, we are compromising the immune system, because immune system will try to defend, because that is foreign particle. But still our body has an intelligence. It's very sophisticated system. The organ also can rejuvenate, but it will take longer time. So if you maintain your food habits and lifestyle and harmony with mind and grounded, loving yourself, so you can take support of the medication initially, but still we can rejuvenate the organs. It will reform. So that is also possible. So now, depending on the situation, stage. So similarly, now if you are giving vaccination, so the antibodies which are being supplied are not mapping with your system. So it will be a toxin again for the body. It's a foreign particle. It will try to defend on it. Yes, it has some suppressive things, but again, we are only suppressing the symptoms. The toxins will remain. So we need not worry about any virus. Like in future, you will listen about new virus now. So people also will talk about vaccination boosters and all. Unfortunately, if we have to travel, if we have to go to our office, so these all situations are there. Like without vaccination, you can't come to office. Now what to do? So there are some organizations like Awaken India Movement, and to introduce you, Moksha also is trying to be activist. So we have a democratic country. So country is for the people, by the people, and to the people, like whatever. So now if everyone together, if we raise our voice, we need not make a war, like just raise our voice. This is our opinion, raise your opinions. Then definitely we have a constitution already. In constitution, we need not disclose our personal informations that is there according to section so and so. According to WHO, vaccinations, especially for COVID also, it is not at all mandatory. It's only advisory. Repeated request from the office is only a norm. It's not a pressure. Like we feel it's a pressure and it's a norm because they are being pressurized by the government by repeated orders. So you can only get those requests. So they may repeatedly say you have to take vaccination if you have to come to office. So if you are taking the help of these organizations, they have legal approach. Like you can take a medical certificate from a medical doctor and you can apply that. So the company has to accept that medical certificate. If you know a medical doctor, there is a format. So if, or else if you write a letter to commissionerate or collector in your local areas, he will not reply because whatever is happening, even they know, but they are also helpless. So they can't reply, or they will not reply. First of all, they can't reply also. So that will become an affidavit. So that will be a proof for you that this is a valid statement. So I don't know in detail because I have not gone into detail, but Awaken India Movement is helping people to go legally so that you can get help from avoiding vaccinations. Even for traveling also, you need not take any vaccinations, but outside country, I don't know how other country laws are, but within India at least, there are possibilities. Even outside countries also have seen some articles and some media videos that vaccination is not mandatory, it's advisory. So only we are in the notion that vaccination is compulsory. So I have seen some people, they just take a declaration. So it is on your own safety measures. So they are not pressurizing. I don't know actual things, but I have heard from people. So
actually they are pressurizing pressurizing indirectly via these drives. They are making these drives and restrictions that you.
Yes, indirectly they are pressurizing.
Directly they are not pressurizing, but indirectly they are pressurizing, which they are making laws also, orders also regarding that. So what the citizens should say that to the public representatives that to cancel these orders, and first of all, before speaking to the representatives, they collectively they have to say, means not in thousands and lakhs they have to say. If people will say, no one will, they will not listen.
Yes. So, and what I have observed recently, RTC people like traffic police, they are putting some legal actions and they are raising fine for not putting mask and not taking vaccination, whatever. I think for mask. So I have seen one challan under section so and so, they have given a challan. But if you just go to the constitutional laws, like it's open source, you can just put that challan details, that law detail in that in Google and see what is that law says. It will be irrelevant. It will not at all. It's not at all relevant. So they are just putting some. Because they can't put, there is no such legal rule that you have to put mask also. So we don't know. As a normal citizen, we don't even try to know. We think why to waste time. We'll pay fine and go.
But mask wearing, many collectors in their district, they have passed orders for the mask, and fine also they have.
But according to section, they are not putting a correct section also. There is no proper section.
Under Epidemic Act, they are allowed to pass these orders. They are given this power, and they are not justifying, but they are passing these orders.
They are passing the order, but they have to have some base for passing that order.
So that they never give, justification.
That's what justification is not there.
Yeah. So, but they are empowered to pass, and without justification, they are passing.
So
we should ask the justification. What is the justification?
Yes.
That is what the public should ask.
Yeah. So what best we can do is to avoid fines. At least at that time, we can just cover a cloth or some take a cotton kerchief or something, so that we can save our time in arguing. Anyway, it's waste of time. They will not listen. They have to follow their superiors. So we can just. We should not have a fear in our mind. That is what I'm trying to tell. But yes, if we all stand together in masses, definitely in some countries already there is a movement. In masses, they are doing protest. It's possible. Okay. So this was about COVID. And behind this, yes, there is a vaccination drive, pharmaceutical drive, and also 5G network. So now 5G network will be introduced. Normally, if you carry a phone, first thing what happened is, like after my cleansing, if I again carry a phone, again my body gets sneeze. So it will try to reject, but it's inevitable. So unless and until I charge properly, then I don't get sneeze because I have some backup to face that radiations. So even if you carry a hand, your fingers, like your joints will become harder, like you will have some inflammation and pain. So with normal radiation only, we have something, some imbalances which the body is actually reflecting upon. So with this 5G has a short wave, it will have more impact. So definitely the body will try to push these toxins out. So already 5G has been introduced. So this was also related to 5G network. So we need to understand how sensibly we have to use the technology in future.
This Darbai pool, actually, they said like has got the ability to absorb radiation. So can we try something with that?
Darba, yeah. Grass you are telling?
Yeah, Darba grass. Because that hermits and all those days, they used to put because it absorbs radiation. Can we try something with that?
Yes. Even tulsi I showed, like you can keep one tulsi leaf in the back of your phone inside the pouch. So that also has some protective energies. Your bioenzymes also will help.
Okay.
Virus can also pass through phone. So let me tell one analogy here, how virus will pass through phone. Suppose, okay, if you are physically available face to face, if one person starts yawning, other person also, if he's in a similar condition, he gets yawn, right? So they work on harmony. Viral programs work on harmony. So if you are talking to a person who has low energy, if you are not strong and grounded, so you also feel low. Can you understand? So basically, the phone has a carrier frequency. It will carry your voice. Okay, it can carry your vibration also. So there are therapies where we do telepathy. Like we have telepathy. Like that, we can do distant healing. Like we can think of a person and heal them. Like that, there are people who will think bad of others. If their immune system or their grounding is weak, then that will affect. That is called nazar and all. So these also have some impact. So similarly, if we are talking on mobile phone, if the other person, the other side, if he is low in his energies, if he has some virus, it can also be transmitted through phone. So if there are similar conditions, there are some similar toxicity, then that can be transmitted. This is little deeper level to understand, but it's possible. So ultimately, there are energies around within and from outside. So just ground yourself, charge yourself, no matter what, try to eat some healthy, that's it. You can face all the challenges in life. On the, like again, it depends on what all conditions you have. So deeper conditions will require deeper cleansing and deeper analysis and detoxification and nourishment. So on the outer surface, it is easy to overcome. Okay, now coming to the continuation of yesterday's, the Saturday's thing about grains and pulses. So you can stop and restart, Lima.